Some of my harshest critics, of which there are few, but they are vociferous, often say to me, yeah, but Fatty, what have you ever got right? You keep saying you make all these predictions, and what have you ever got right? Well, funny you should say that. Currently sat in an Alpha 147, but actually, I feel like I'm sat in Smug Corner, being Smuggy McDonald of Smugtown, because I'm immensely smug. I woke up this morning and every now and again you check Google for EV news to see what the latest news is and see if there's anything worth talking about. And there was an article in Autocar magazine, Britain's premier motoring magazine, about EVs and about how they need a government bailout to survive. Now, before we get into this, let's just remember that virtually everything that's environmentally friendly and in climate change needs government bailouts, whether it's windmills, solar panels, milk floats. No matter what it is, it doesn't work unless we pay for it. Because if it's a government bailout, it's our money. It's not the government's, it's our money in the first place. So we are bailing out their ideas because they've got this stupid thing to follow, that they've got to get to net zero, they've got to do this, they've got to do that, the planet's dying, etc, etc. So you're paying for it. Nobody else. It's down to us. We don't. If you don't want milk floats, tough. And this is where it comes down to it. If you want a milk float, have a milk float. I couldn't give a shit. If you want to drive a V8 that does 3 to the gallon, drive a V8. Doesn't matter to me. But don't tell me I have to do it, and don't tell me that if I don't do it, I'm in the wrong. The freedom of choice is gone. Freedom of speech is gone. Now freedom of choice is gone. And so we're getting these milk floats rammed down our throats, and it doesn't work. Now, according to Autocar, in July, 85% of all milk floats were sold to businesses, not personal. I've been ranting about this for ages. 62% of them were company cars on a salary sacrifice scheme. Remember, the salary sacrifice scheme that only seems to work for the public sector, and all the public sector get to have cheap milk floats because they get it through a salary sacrifice scheme, and the government subsidises it to a tune of about 60%. So, the British Vehicle Rental and Leasing Association, the BVRLA, has come out and said, this is unsustainable. Now, this is why I'm in Smug Corner. Because on the 4th of July, I've been back and checked, and you can go through the YouTube channel, go through my channel, go back to the 4th of July, and I said that EVs were going to be subject to tax changes next year, and they're going to have to pay the expensive car tax. On the 5th of July, I said that depreciation of EVs was off the scale, and it was completely mental, and it was an Audi e-tron I was in that was 75 grand, and now worth 25 grand 3 years later. Dropped 50 grand, 66% depreciation. And then on the 9th of July, I made the prophecy that the lease model that all milk floats are on was completely unsustainable, completely unworkable, and any minute now it was going to implode. This is Mr. Fat Bloke in his milk float preaching. What do I know? Well, apparently quite a lot, because August, a month later, what do the BVRLA say? And I'll quote, this is what they say: we face unsustainable losses from rapid and relentless EV depreciation. Their words, not mine. So they are suffering unsustainable losses. So they want the government to bail them out. That's part one. Part two, because they're suffering these losses, guess what's happening? The cost of the lease is going up. So lease prices are going up because it's unsustainable at the current thing. So guess what they want? They want more government incentives. They want more grants. And they want less tax than the 2% they currently pay. Less than what? So 1% or nothing. That's all you can go for. You're on 2% already. So, despite the fact that Fat Bloke here, Jesus, it's hot in this car, knows absolutely nothing about anything at all, I seem to have predicted within 5 weeks of it happening exactly what is happening. I said that the lease model was unsustainable because of the depreciation. And now the British Vehicle Rental and Leasing Association have said exactly the same thing, because they finally worked it out. You cannot lease things that depreciate at a faster rate than the cost of the lease payments, because then you end up with a financial black hole. And that's exactly where they are. So their answer isn't, well, clearly this EV thing isn't working. Their answer is to go to the government, cap in hand, and say, we need more of your money. Sorry, our money. So that we can pursue your stupid crusade for climate change and net zero, even though we, the experts in the industry, know this is unsustainable, know it doesn't work, but you're forcing us to do it, so you're going to have to pay us to do it. So hence, there's only one conclusion to this: taxes will go up. I mean, road tax is already going up for milk floats in April next year. The expensive car tax is coming in for milk floats next year. That's clearly not enough. So they're going to have to raise more money somehow. So it's going to come out of your pocket. You, the petrol, diesel driving car driver, who's quite happily going about his own business, minding his own business, doesn't give a shit about milk floats, you're going to have to pay for them. Same as you're paying for the windmills through your electricity bills, and you're paying for the solar panels through your electricity bills, so that they can be subsidised, so that we look like we're world leaders in net zero, when in fact what we contribute is less than 1% anyway, so it's pointless. But don't worry about any of that. That's irrelevant. The main thing is that you feel guilty. And you think, oh, well, I must pay more because we've all got to do our bit to save the planet. Really? Because the Prime Minister ain't doing his bit to save the planet. He's still travelling around in a V8 Range Rover. He's still travelling on private jet. So's the Mayor of London. And so's pretty much every politician in the land. They're not driving around in Priuses. So it's not a case of everybody must do their bit. It's you, the common pleb. You must do your bit, and you must keep quiet about it too. Because if you say anything that disagrees with our narrative on EVs, we'll have you arrested. That's got to be coming next, isn't it? I mean, I've got a bag packed. I'm ready to go. I've said who my one phone call's going to be. I've auditioned for a few cellmates. It's only a matter of time before me, Jeff and Mac Master are behind bars. It can only be a matter of weeks, maybe months, before we're packed off to Parkhurst because we have an opinion different to the government. And that's the problem. It's there. It's obvious. Everybody can see it. The experts can see it. We all know what's going on, but it's the emperor's new clothes. We've got to pretend it's not happening. And you can't say anything, because if you do, the government will have you arrested. And this is 2024. What a wonderful time to be alive, isn't it? So, you could get teasy about it, but you can't. You can't get teasy about it. You certainly can't go on the streets and protest about it, because you'll be put in jail. So instead, I'm just going to sit here sweating like in this beautiful weather. I mean, that's one thing, I suppose. I'm just going to sit here and sweat, but I'm going to be immensely smug. And I don't care if you go, oh, you can't be smug about that. I am smug about it, because it's there. Just like the Facebook post that got took down the other day, where it was from 3 years ago. It came up on Facebook Memories. And I predicted that the next big thing after COVID would be climate change. And I said that they're going to come for you. They're going to come for your petrol and diesel cars. And the only people that are going to get any incentives in the world are the people that drive milk floats. 3 years ago, I said that to the very day. And I tried reposting it, and Facebook took it down because they said it contained hate speech and was misleading people. So there you go. That's the wonderful world we now live in. So when it comes up that I've actually got something right, which I seem to do more often than not, I am going to be smug about it. And I am going to be complacent and sit here and go, yeah, I told you so. The 4 worst words in the English language, I told you so. Well, I did. And it's there. It's on YouTube. It's date stamped. It's time stamped. It can't be argued with. I said this was coming. It's now been officially stamped by the industry that it's coming. And we've got to pay for it. And if that doesn't say future my arse, nothing else will. Future my arse.